Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is yearning ever, home where the old folks stay.
Welcome to Florida Men on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in
Florida. 79.
We were just discussing that Joshua has the best hair out of the four of us.
It's
Yes,
true.
hello,
Yeah.
thank you.
I haven't had a haircut since this whole pandemic thing started.
Oh,
So
Same.
it's getting pretty rough.
we're going to go see Jan. Shout out.
We have a barber
as
that,
a group, yes.
yeah, we have a barber that we discovered right before the quarantine. She is a British lady.
We like to overwhelm our hairstylists.
Well, she was kind of mean,
She is.
but in the best
She
way.
likes to overwhelm us.
Yeah, she does.
Segue to that. She's mean like I am to my tenant.
Come on.
Okay.
Your brand new roommate.
Uncle
Brand new
Beryl?
roommate. Yeah, I got him a new toilet. I thought I was doing something nice. It's got the buttons on top,
Right.
which
Okay.
isn't really a natural position.
Buttons. Two button? Oh, the two buttons.
Yeah, because you think I'm gonna go number dos.
Right.
Okay. There's a button for that.
Do you over the back it?
To press it to flush.
Yeah, or you have to stand up.
There's
I
no
think
courtesy
they
flush.
want you to stand up.
I
and
think
then-
that's why he's clogging.
yeah.
there's no
Oh,
courtesy
so Uncle
flush.
Beryl's clogging the toilet.
Oh, that's the thing, brother. He he calls me like once a month. He goes, hey, Josh, this toilet is clogged again. Like it's the toilet's fault.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll be over there. So I go over with my flip flops on.
I clog a toilet?
I
That's
take-
the worst.
I take my
shoe
two plungers. And you'd think stuff would settle by then, but
Yeah.
God bless it.
Not
hasn't.
that.
No. And I usually do a quick pump.
With the plunger?
Yeah.
Right.
And that usually works it. And he usually says some complimentary like, you're a natural.
He's like, look at those triceps.
or something like that to make me feel good
Right.
about plunging his toilet.
You're a great plunger. All right, headlines.
Headlines?
So, Florida man
Okay.
who spit
Ew.
and coughed on a police officer
Ooh,
Okay, too far.
has some federal terrorism charges now
come
filed
on.
against him.
Bless him. Okay.
Good.
All right, so this man in Florida, James Curry, he's 31 years old. He got arrested after a domestic dispute call.
I can say he's not good with decision making.
No.
Right.
No.
So the police were called to this house for a domestic dispute. So they come to talk to James Curry. Well, he ends up spitting and coughing on the police officers during this arrest and saying, "Ha ha, joke's on you. I got the coronavirus."
Come
Oh, well, did they take his as the spitting?
No, I think it was a
He did it.
Yeah.
His spit.
yeah. It was a whole sequence.
Isn't that like terrorism?
So, thanks, Wayne.
I think it's aiding and abetting a bioweapon.
It is actually now they kind of put him in for the domestic dispute and then basically attacking a police officer. But yes,
Rico.
so the federal grand jury has come back and said that it is federal terrorism charges, and he has been committed for a biological weapon hoax.
Oh, he's a host or hoax?
Hoax. So the problem
sound
with
bad.
this is, and this is his attorney's kind of take on it,
Right.
is he says, well, if that's the position in this case, that would make each of the millions of COVID-19 patients in possession of a biologic weapon.
That's
So
smart.
saying that this guy
Oh, that means
created a biological weapon hoax would say that anybody that even has COVID-19
Is
The
a
domestic
carrier.
dispute doesn't look too
has
bad
a
now.
biological weapon within them.
Honestly,
Yeah,
that's a
I do.
brilliant defense.
It is
do.
a great defense. So we don't know if it'll stand. We'll see. But yeah, federal terrorism charges for coughing on a police
If
officer.
you've ever spent the evening with Wayne after a night at IHOP,
Right.
Yes.
you'd say he also has a bio weapon in his body
Amen. Well, I remember
after a stack of pancakes.
he is
Yeah.
a hoax, though.
I was watching the one of the briefings,
Yes.
and when they mentioned anybody that like purposefully spreading the virus was going to get terrorist charges or
Yeah.
whatnot, and
It's crazy.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess it makes sense.
You know, the domestic dispute, it really doesn't sound too bad. I mean, it sounds like I'm eating corn and he goes, does this have paprika on it? And I go, no, it doesn't. I taste paprika. And
Right.
then they call the cops to sort it
Yeah.
out. Does it have paprika
And
on
then
it?
he's a terrorist.
And now he's a terrorist.
I just want to know if it's paprika. All right. So next headline: Florida man
Right.
Hey.
goes swimming
Uh-oh.
in a fish tank
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
in a Bass Pro Shop.
Come on.
Oh, is there-
I've wanted to do that.
Okay,
They sell
so
swimming gear? Like you need to try out
well, they
fins?
sell anything that you could possibly need in life at Bass Pro Shop. Just
Right.
a plug.
Really?
Yes.
Come on.
This guy.
So, anyways, if you've never been in a Bass Pro Shop,
Never. No
you
reason
should check
to.
it out.
Not buying bass.
They have these giant tanks in like the middle of the store, kind of like a
Right.
just like something to go see. The
What's that
kids can
for?
go see. They have a bunch of fish in it, so they do have like bass. They have some.
I would hope so.
It has all kinds of different things like
Sharks.
catfish, but they're all freshwater
Octopus.
fish. Freshwater octopus only though. And so yeah, it's just like one of those things where it's something to look at
Yeah.
and something to kind of see
Right.
some fish, which they're all about.
Uh-huh.
Well, they do like some feedings and stuff that you can see during the day, but this guy decided to run up.
Oh.
He had to run up to the top of this
You
tank.
can
It's a very large.
Yeah, they're huge.
I
Well,
say
if they're going to
tank.
have crocodilian in
Yeah.
there, it's got to be big.
I
Right.
don't think this one did.
Oh, good
Yeah.
deal.
But it's a huge like display. It's not just like a tank
Mm-hmm.
sitting by itself. It's like this huge thing. So he goes up, runs up, dives into this tank,
Oh, no.
and just
Drown.
runs out of the store.
Oh.
Comes out and just takes off.
Like a prank.
It's a prank.
Yeah.
And it's been done a bunch actually.
Bass
so this is
attached to them.
yes.
Yeah. Oh,
he
yeah.
had a catfish on his foot.
Oh,
and
my God. Big mouth catfish, though.
it bit his foot.
I believe it. They're vicious.
And so they're what?
Vicious.
And so he ran out of the store. They actually have not identified him yet. Or they
Hold
they-
on. Let me guess. Okay.
I'm sorry, I take that back. They
Caucasian
have-
male in his 20s.
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually have identified him.
Uh-huh.
They have not caught
Located
him
him.
yet.
Oh,
They haven't
okay.
located him.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's the funny part of that is he went on social media and
Oh, no.
basically made like this big deal and brought up all these other past instances where
Divings?
people had dived into the Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah.
He's like, well, their charges were so and so. I don't know why I've got way more charges.
Oh,
Wow.
and trying
And
to
he's like-
fight it?
Yeah,
Not
he's
in
like
court,
fighting
but
it
on
on
social
social media, like on Facebook.
Oh,
But would
wow.
they have identified him had he not like done all
Oh,
that on
yeah.
social media?
I don't know.
Okay.
You
Did
can't
he
brag about
Did he
it.
jackknife? Because if he jackknifed,
Into the water.
yeah,
I think that's
could
what they were
never do
upset
that.
about.
He's jackknifed.
Everything was wet.
everything stunned.
Yeah, all
He
the water
stunned
left.
every fish in the tank by jackknifing.
I think the issue is I've had that desire. You walk in
Yeah.
and you think about it.
You
like,
been there?
What would it be like to swim in the tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, you been there?
To Bass Pro Shop?
Oh,
That's where I go
Yes.
get all my fishing gear.
yeah.
Okay, just checking.
You guys act like you don't fish. You don't fish?
Not outside the tub.
We live in Florida.
Fishers of men.
Oh, amen. All right. So next headline is a naked Florida man.
Jackknife.
All right. Jackknifed.
Wait, his name is Jack Knife.
Yes. Jackknife. So this naked Florida man vandalizes a high school
Oh.
for an entire day,
What? How do you have that
Causing-
much paint?
causing over 100,000 in damage. What? Nobody said anything about paint.
How else are you going to do it? Urine and feces?
No, I don't. Okay. So Josh is like way ahead of me tonight.
It's
This
my brain. It runs
Florida
at
man-
5,000 RPMs.
This Florida man went to Miramar High School and caused significant amount of damage. A lot of that was like trashing computers,
Right, right.
TVs, like pulling them off walls.
Oh.
But he was there the entire day. This happened on Memorial Day. So while we were here recording and
Oh, yeah.
saluting Eagles,
Right.
he was trashing stuff naked in
He's
a high
probably
school.
listening. He's probably watching the live stream.
He might have.
He got too excited.
So they have a picture of him from security camera. They just show the face.
One that he couldn't reach.
Okay. So
Let me
the
see,
one that he
Caucasian
couldn't get
male
to.
in his 20s.
Yeah.
So they don't know who he is, though. They're offering like a $3,000 reward.
That's it? Oh, bump that.
Well, they'll probably bump it up later.
I'm
But
sure
it's got to start somewhere.
I'm sure he's on social media being like, guys, a lot of people
Last time this was
have
done,
naked
Yeah.
vandalized Miramar High
Exactly.
School.
I didn't jackknife nothing. Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hello.
Josh.
So I got a letter. This one's pretty good. I really like it. I didn't write her back.
Oh,
Yeah, her name was
I'm so sorry.
Jacqueline Knife. Husband named Jack.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Wow. Jack and Jacqueline Knife.
They're a very cute couple. She says, "Hey guys, I'm still in high school. I didn't get to present my science experiment that I prepared all year for. And I was just hoping I could, tell your audience or your listeners because I put a lot of work into it.
So a married high schooler
Yeah.
wrote us a letter,
Yes.
and she was upset that she couldn't present her science project.
Yeah, those big 3-tier ones.
Yeah, the,
Like the boards?
yeah, poster
Poster
board.
That's
boards.
that's a racket if I've ever seen one.
Oh,
Whoever's
yeah.
in the poster board business,
Right,
and
making a
then
lot of
the
money.
science teachers, they're getting a kickback.
Those things are like $7, I think.
Yeah, that's some
I can buy a
BS.
whole box for
So
way
Jacqueline-
cheaper than that.
Jacqueline wants to present on our show.
Yeah.
Her science project.
Mhm.
Yep. And what do you feel? Because it's a vote, obviously.
We're gonna vote right now.
Yeah.
We're just I don't think that's gonna work, Jackie.
How can we fill this space though that she was supposed to present in?
I've had a science project go wrong.
I'm all ears, baby.
Do you guys have a science project that's gone wrong before?
I do. I'm all
A
ears.
science
Or what about like a
project?
school
I don't know.
project that's gone wrong?
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a middle
I
school
think
project. I'm a
mine-
late planner.
Mine was in science. I was a freshman.
Cute.
And what I mean by that was is I was a senior in a freshman biology class.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah.
And so there was some mix up with my credits.
Dating.
I had to go back.
Dating's
Yeah.
tough.
Dating the teacher. And so the contest we were doing was to see who could use the knowledge that we had learned that year
Okay.
to make a natural stink bomb.
What?
Okay, like we had a week to mix chemicals.
Oh, that sounds safe.
that were
Yep.
that were approved by the teacher
Okay.
to make a stink bomb, and we're gonna go outside.
Did
You
you just
to
go
kinda-
buy some stink? Because
to go-
that's where I would have gone. the dollar store to get
what
some
I
stink.
did was my friend Devin, shout out, said, "Have you ever smelled valerian root?" He
Okay.
said, because this stuff smells like
I thought
something
that was like something
died."
from Star Wars.
No, it's a pill you can get from the Walmarts.
Okay.
And it smells atrocious. It's supposed to be healthy for you, whatnot. Yeah.
Sounds delicious.
I don't know.
And so that day, I said, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think she's going to fall for it. What I will do is the day before, I'll take it into class.
Yeah.
I'll break up some of these valerian root pills,
Uh-huh.
and let's see
How stinky it
how
gets.
stinky it is. If
Yeah,
it's
okay.
stinky and people go PU, I'll
Yes.
use it in my project
Yep.
the next day.
Okay.
I always say you use 2 consonants after the letter M.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
you.
I go in homeroom.
You'll get it later.
Everybody's doing the salute to the flag.
Uh-huh.
and
Pledge. It's called
say-
the pledge.
Yeah, saying their prayers. I sneak into the science lab. I start breaking valerian root pills
Oh,
everywhere.
God bless.
School gets evacuated.
No.
What? Yeah.
Did you win?
No.
What is valerian root smell like though?
It smells like the aftermath of recent vomit.
Okay.
Oh.
I have dogs. My dogs like to vomit, but
Oh,
hide
gosh.
If someone were to vomit and then someone took a fan and blew that smell into your face.
This episode is gross.
it. It's a grody episode.
So yeah, the school got evacuated and they couldn't figure out because it's just powder. It's just in whatever. They couldn't figure out what the smell.
what? This pill is a powder?
It's inside the pill is powder.
Oh.
Mm.
I had
Uh,
pictured this as an oil pill.
No, so
Like a
basically,
fish.
yeah.
Fish
It-
oil.
Fish oil.
the project itself went bad because I lost. But the
How
day,
the H
Yeah.
do you lose if you evacuate the school?
And
Did someone
yours was
evacuate the
store-bought.
county?
well, it wasn't the official project. It was the day
Oh.
before. I was testing out the valerian root in the classroom.
Okay. Well, you have to do science experiments to do science experiments.
But then I could,
Yes.
exactly. But then I couldn't put the valerian root in my actual project because then people would go, "That smells familiar. It smells like why we evacuated yesterday."
Oh, you couldn't tell on yourself.
Okay.
Right. So
Oh.
I gotcha.
yeah, okay.
But you could have. I accidentally dropped my science project.
Or you say mine was valerian root. whoever did this also used Valyrian.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to get in trouble. Cameron,
I
do you
get
have
it.
one?
I have one. So mine is not.
Don't sound too enthusiastic.
Mine
I
isn't
have
science. Mine was a school project where we had. This is a super long project. We had to do like an internship.
Right.
We had to do like a speech, like on a subject or like career
Is
choice.
this how you got the job at the funeral home?
Yeah. No. So we had to do something that we're interested in, and I was interested in music. So I did an internship. I don't remember what I did for that. I probably didn't do that part, but I wanted to record a song.
Oh,
Okay, I
cute.
was interested in that
Yep.
for my project.
Right.
Okay.
So I got these weirdos together.
Okay.
They were in my band.
Okay.
Wayne was the lead singer of.
Come on.
And so we
you recall a
took
science experiment?
we took one of our songs
Uh-huh.
and decided to record it for my project.
Okay.
So we work on this probably at least hours.
As songwriters, song makers, I assume
Right.
you would have already recorded a song.
No. Well, yes, we had.
But you have to do
probably.
it specially for
This was specifically because I had to like document the process.
Oh, okay. Make it real
And make
sciencey.
pictures of Wayne and
Ew.
yeah, weird stuff. So we work like weeks on this song,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, nice.
It was a good song, I thought. We recorded it, thought it sounded great. I had to print it onto a CD,
Come on.
okay, so we could play it.
Back in
Uh-huh.
the day.
Is that what they call it? Printing on a CD?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I took it to whatever class. They had those little white speakers in the ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Okay, so they were going to play it on that. And
Nice.
I get up, I start talking. I'm doing my speech. All right, this was the process. This is what we used. We wrote this song. And I'm like, you guys are going to love it.
Yeah.
Play it. They start playing it. And I don't know what it was,
Okay.
but this like they turned the volume all the way up.
Oh, God.
And you could you could hear the song.
What?
But you could also hear just people like moving. Like, and so I was standing up. I had to stand up here this whole 3.5 minute song and be like,
Well, do you just hear shirts?
it's just super awkward. And I'm like, this next part's good. I got no feedback. Like,
How did you?
everybody's just
what did you
staring
put,
off.
Like the recordings on like the armpits of people. I
Yes.
thought you put it on
Muffled it.
instruments.
Yeah.
Was
So-
this in high school?
This was in high school.
This is embarrassing.
One of the main lines was a line that said, "Ooh, I love you so." Okay.
That sounds.
I remember
And so I kept hearing from the back, "Why are you saying ooh? Like gross? Like ooh?
Ew, I love
Ew,
you.
I love you."
Right.
And it was just the most awkward experience ever. Like you
Wow.
feel like you had to present like a painting that everybody hated,
Oh
Yeah.
my God!
but you had to stand there for 5 minutes to let
Wow.
everybody hate it more.
How did that get turned up into Hanson's hit song "Mbop"? Because I hear that's the origin.
It's a long
I never
story.
read
It's a long story.
What I
Oh, it was
hate
real
is that
bad.
I put a lot of effort into writing that song.
Yeah.
And it took Cameron 15 years to tell me the story.
Oh my gosh! How he destroyed it for an audience.
I try to block it out of my memory. It was just so
You were on
awkward.
stage,
Yeah.
and they go, "Okay, we're gonna hit it," and you're watching the audience thinking, "All right, about to have a girlfriend here, here."
And instead they're going, it hurts.
Yeah.
Stop."
Turn it off.
Ew,
Make it
I love
stop.
you.
Oh, it was pretty bad. Yeah.
Joshua, do you have one
Okay.
go bad?
Yeah, probably all of them, but the only one I remember because I'm a late planner,
Okay.
Okay.
and that's what I'm finding out with bills as I pay bills.
Right.
When the yellow
It's better
letters
to be late
show up.
on those.
Yeah.
Though.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, you don't want to be early with a bill.
No.
So
You gotta make them earn it.
you got to make them earn it. So I get notice that hey, next Monday is when you'll be presenting your science project.
Nice.
So I'm like, dang, that sounds familiar. What
What science project?
And they're like the one we've been working on for 8 weeks.
Yes.
That's the worst feeling.
And you will have hypothesize
Yeah.
the middle part, the conclusion,
You got the hypothesis part. Yeah.
and
The
the,
middle part.
conclusion. The
Right.
middle part that takes up 2. I'm
Right.
like mystery.
On your board.
yeah.
I gotcha.
So it's the last weekend. I convinced, I think, my stepmom to take me to get a science board.
Uh-huh.
Rip off. I had to rake like 5 bags of leaves to get that board.
Jeez.
Right.
So I get it, and I'm like, okay, what can I do? That's a science experiment
Yeah.
that looks like I put some effort into it.
In like 2
Yeah.
days.
In
Right.
like 2 days. And they go, because you got to have, like variables. And I'm
Mm.
like, yeah, that's a word I remember.
Yeah.
And so I go, okay, I think I got it. I'll put 2 pieces of bread on a baking sheet.
Uh-huh.
I'll put peanut butter on one.
Are you making a sandwich? It sounds like you're just making a sandwich.
Well, I made me a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
And then I go, this is a good idea. And then I had bread, and I had bread with peanut butter, and I put it by the ant bed that had bitten me so many times. And
the
I
2
thought,
pieces of bread.
The 2 pieces of bread.
Okay.
I thought, okay, this is perfect because I can get like a count. I can count the ants. What do ants, this was on my board. What do ants love most? Toast or peanut butter toast?
That was okay.
That was it. And you would think,
What was your hypothesis?
I hypothesized that peanut butter toast
Okay.
would be the winner.
Yeah, obviously.
I love that you're supposed to take 8 weeks to do this.
And this is like Sunday
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
because Saturday I had to brainstorm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I
course.
made all that effort of getting the board.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'm pooped.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
you're tired.
For sure.
So I go, okay, I put it next to the ant bed. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to clock right now 1
Mhm.
hour. Not going to look at it.
Right.
I want to come back to a surprise. I got my magnifying glass
Hmm.
so I can count them. 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
I come out. I see the first piece of toast. No ants on it.
Okay, we're looking good
I see the second piece of toast.
with peanut butter.
Gone.
What?
I hear chick, 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 chick. And up this tree, it's just this squirrel just chowing the F down on my bread, just looking at me. And I'm like, what is happening?
He's like, thanks, dude.
My science experiment. Turns out that ant bed my dad had killed
Oh, gee.
the weekend before.
So there's
So-
no ants in the
There was no
area.
ants. So it's not even like ants were eating like the squirrel
Right.
or the
Okay.
bread.
Right.
So I had to put like conclusion, undetermined, because unknown variable entered squirrel and ate bread. Turns out squirrels love peanut butter bread.
Oh, they do.
I love it.
Yeah.
They do. Who doesn't love peanut butter bread? Though?
I love peanut butter bread.
I think I could be on an island and eat just peanut butter toast.
Oh,
and,
100%.
and a drink.
You
but-
need some milk or something.
So
yeah.
what was your grade?
Oh, I'm sure I got a D.
Oh, that's an easy D.
I'm sure. I don't think I got out of a D ever.
That was my nickname in high school.
Easy D?
So a lot of people consider the 1920s in America to be one of the greatest decades in all of history.
No, we don't.
Who does?
1950s, bro.
50s all day.
Come on. So the 1920s was a time of wealth and culture expansion that we as a country had never seen before.
That's true. Okay, that's true. I
Oh,
did
yeah.
after the 50s. I do love the 20s.
That's true.
Close second
You gotta
place.
love the 20s to get to the 50s.
you
though.
gotta love the 20s to get to the 50s.
Cameron's always said
20s
that.
is the best, man. I love the 20s.
So
what you're saying about it?
is really good. So what made it even more impressive is that it was coming off of a particularly difficult decade, right?
Yeah,
So
the tens.
the decade prior, we had seen World War One.
Yeah.
Not cool.
No.
First World War.
No.
And then at the end of that decade, the country was actually ravaged by a pandemic
What?
that came to be known as the Spanish flu,
Oh, yeah.
Them Spaniards.
bringing that flu.
Gladiator.
So the 20s come around and people are coming home from war, people are coming out of quarantine, and the
Oh.
economy is booming. American innovation is at an all-time high. And so what
Amen.
we have is the perfect formula for what came to be known as the Roaring 20s.
Oh, they do say that.
They do.
People do say that. So for a lot of people, when you think of the Roaring 20s, you think about Great Gatsby,
Yeah.
I do.
the people in suits all dressed up, big parties, lavish living.
I did.
And for a lot of people, that was the situation.
Uh-huh.
Like, for example, appliances were becoming the norm in the average American home.
Whoa. Okay.
That was kind
like
of
a fridge.
Well, yeah, a toaster, that kind
Okay.
of stuff. Like
Yeah,
it was
Love a
yeah.
toaster.
easy living, kind of almost like if you were living in that day and age, you were like, oh, this is the future.
I
Yeah,
could just
yeah.
buy a microwave oven,
Mm-hmm.
Panasonic Flash Express. It
Come
has
on.
Infrared heat
Jeez.
For that
It's
peanut butter
great.
toast.
for that peanut butter toast.
So on top of that, mass marketing had just been kind of invented and perfected.
Oh.
And so the result was consumer demand was also through the roof. So the economy is booming. Like everybody wanted what they were seeing in the newspaper ads. Celebrity culture was starting to be
Yeah.
like idolized, and it affected the way that everyday Americans just kind of saw things in general.
Mm.
They wanted
That's
more.
true.
They wanted
Yeah.
to be more. In fact, a lot of old-timey preachers during this time, they saw it as a sign of the end days because the culture and lifestyle was changing so quickly.
Is that, yeah.
Yeah,
The toasters are the second seal. I believe in the
Right.
In the
So they were
apocalypse.
preaching doom and gloom.
Yep.
The rest of the country's going, this is a lot of fun. We're
Yeah.
really enjoying ourselves. But we basically had, because we're only a half-hour show, we're going to condense this down to 3 terms, okay?
Okay.
3 things that were really important in the 20s. Flappers, booze, and jazz.
God, this guy loves slappers.
I do love. Did you say slappers?
I said flappers with an F.
I said flappers.
I heard slappers.
I heard
I do love
slappers, too.
slappers and flappers.
I love some good slappers.
I was
Yeah.
thinking something.
I love all
else.
3 of those things.
Well, let's go over those things, okay? These are our vocabulary words for the episode. When you think of flappers, if you had to guess what that was, what would you say?
Oh, that's
oh no,
that's the stickers that cover.
no.
The back of trucks?
Yes. With tassels.
Close.
Those are the
Jeremy-
stickers.
I
with
remember from history class.
Okay.
Okay.
So you know what a flapper is.
I do know what it is,
Right.
but I'll let you do it.
So flappers basically was the term used to describe young women in the 1920s
Mm-hmm.
in Western culture.
Oh, I thought it was a dress.
I thought it was closed. I thought it was
Okay.
a tassel.
Right. So basically, young ladies, they started wearing short skirts. They bobbed their hair, cut their hair really short.
Oh.
They started like basically flaunting their disdain for what people consider to be acceptable behavior.
It's like a look.
Oh.
It was a style.
attitude.
Yeah, it was this whole kind of
Yeah.
culture. Well, like what's funny is a lot of guys, a lot
Thank
of
you.
people in general were like, this is unacceptable behavior. You shouldn't be doing this kind of thing.
I read the papers.
And they're going, we're just expressing ourselves,
Thank you.
Yeah.
right?
Cam,
So-
you prude.
They would smoke, they would dance, they
Whoa.
would drink. Basically, they were behaving like normal human beings. But prior to the 20s, there wasn't that freedom to really do so.
Guess we know who's an advocate
they were
for
animals.
drinking and smoking.
Right, this guy. So that's flappers. Second vocabulary word is booze.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Got those.
We know what booze is. So basically, we've mentioned it before on our show in the 20s. Booze got taken to a whole nother level because of prohibition.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Right?
Take
So
it away from us. We want it more.
That's
Amen.
100% true.
Yeah,
Like it was
100%
the
true.
the
Like our
creation.
freedom.
The creation and selling of alcohol was banned in America,
Oof.
which meant people did it themselves and in secret.
Yeah.
So that
Bad
took place
stuff.
in the 20s. And then we also had jazz.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
So jazz was a new style of music and dance that emerged from African American communities.
Cam, do you want to go ahead and do your jazz? Perfect. Whoa. I'm there.
Josh is cutting a rug in the studio. He's shaking his boudoir. So for a lot of people, these were new techniques, both culturally.
Yeah.
But culturally, a lot of the techniques that were found in jazz, they originated from African culture.
Yeah.
So really, it was only a new style of music to white people,
Naturally.
right? I mean, it was kind of,
It's usually where we get our culture.
right, exactly.
Well, yeah.
But because it was so incredibly catchy and it required a ton of talent, it spread everywhere in the 20s
Yep.
and took the country by storm. So we got flappers, booze, and jazz basically defined the 20s. But Florida somehow always finds a way to either perfect traditions or somehow turn them on their head and make them crazy as possible.
Okay.
That explains the whole
I'm wondering where Florida fits in here.
FBJ, Flappers, Booze, and Jazz
Yeah,
movement.
That's it, FBJ. So when it came to flappers, Florida absolutely crushed it. Okay, this is the culture surrounding young women. This is how they're defining themselves in this
Yeah.
decade.
To be a flapper in the 20s.
That'd be a great T-shirt. To be a flapper in the 20s. So basically, Florida didn't just welcome the change to femininity.
Okay.
We embraced it and took it a
Amen.
step further.
I've
So,
always
for
said that.
example, we had a place called Little Annie's Bar Room.
Mm.
And Little Annie's was a bar that was ran by women, but it wasn't created by women.
Oh, okay.
In fact, the bar was owned by a gentleman named Straight Bob.
Like
Oh,
Hooters. It's
Right.
owned by women and
Right.
ran by women.
Right. So this bar was ran by a guy named Straight Bob
Mhm.
until Annie and her friends, at the age of 21, they basically held Straight Bob at gunpoint and claimed ownership of the bar.
Okay, so now they run it.
Okay.
So they're
Yes.
taking this whole young female freedom to a whole new level. And
Yeah.
they've said, we like this bar. It now
It's ours now.
It now belongs to us.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's a weird way of going about it.
It is.
That's the way they're showing their freedom. So on paper, Bob still owned the place, but Annie and her ladies held regular patrols, and they made sure that all the clientele were either female or at the very least very respectful gentlemen.
Okay. I could be part of that then.
I think
I'm
you
a
could,
very
yeah.
respectful gentleman.
So after a while, it just became known as Annie's Bar. So while ladies in the U.S. were starting to curse openly and wear their skirts
Oh
a
my
little
gosh.
shorter,
Heathen.
ladies in Florida were using their newfound freedoms to take over bar rooms,
Yeah, to steal bars.
to steal
To
bars.
steal bars.
In fact,
Entire buildings.
yeah. In fact, there was a story that came out of the town of Apalachicola
Oh,
where a young lady was confronted for her new hairstyle and wardrobe by a man in town.
it had to be a short bob cut.
It was. So in other parts of the country, I'm sure a man would have received a lesson on newfound freedoms. But in Florida, this young lady, she
He
raised
got bopped in the face, probably.
she raised up her skirt a little further,
Uh-oh.
revealing a small revolver, and she promptly shot him dead.
Oh my
Whoa,
gosh.
shot him dead?
Shot him dead.
Okay.
So basically, Florida again taking things to the extreme.
Yeah.
You can't
Well, it's
just
it's like getting a speeding ticket. You know, it's not the first time you sped
right.
Yeah.
to get caught. So that's not the first time he was a jerk to a woman about a haircut.
He deserved it.
That's not the first
deserved
time
it.
she killed somebody either.
Oh my gosh.
Come on. So booze also flourished in Florida in the
Okay.
20s. In fact, it's widely believed that the majority of the illegal alcohol production and sales in the United States at that time came from the Sunshine State.
Amen.
Go.
You're
Yeah,
welcome,
we're
world.
good at it.
We perfected it.
Orange
Beca-
wine.
Well, we had the swamps and the forests and places where no one really wanted to go.
Yeah.
So you could hide all the production. It was really easy to get away with. In fact, while the rest of the U.S. is experiencing this culture boom, we were still trying to figure out, like, if we were even part of the union. Like, we
Okay,
were still
yeah.
kind of that mixture of, like, we're ahead of the times, we're behind the times.
Yeah.
Right? We're figuring stuff out.
Steady
And
Florida.
we actually covered this in episode 62, the Moonshine Fern Farm.
Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
That was a good episode.
That was a good episode.
And that was where farmers were running one of the largest illegal alcohol production sites in the world and transporting it through the sale of fern plants right here in Florida.
all brought down by a kid.
All brought down by a kid.
Nosy kids.
But it wasn't just large secret production facilities manufacturing this stuff. The term bathtub booze was actually starting to spread in North Florida because so many average American families were making moonshine in their bathtubs.
Oh, I thought it was like when you play like a scary ghost in the tub and you're like, boo.
Bathtub booze. Well, what's interesting is I'm always trying to figure out, like, you had so many places in Florida making illegal booze, and these people were so impatient. They're like, you know what? We'll just do it ourselves in the bathtub.
Yeah.
I'm
boo.
sure we can figure it out. Boo.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, where would you bathe if your bathtub's full of liquor?
In the gin, in the distillery gin.
Yeah, in the liquor, I
In
think.
the liquor.
That's how it goes. In fact, it's widely believed that the majority of the illegal alcohol sales
Yeah.
over that entire decade kind of originated out of basically people's bathroom tubs.
Oh, God bless.
People were just making it themselves, selling it to providers who were then kind of getting it to the masses.
Can
up
you
north.
imagine in Cam's big jacuzzi tub?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was a fun Friday night.
some
But can you
alcohol.
imagine with liquor in there?
It'd be a lot.
I love it. I love it a lot. So basically, lastly, we have jazz,
Okay.
kind of rounded out.
Doesn't
the
seem
Roaring
like
20s.
Florida is the home of jazz.
You wouldn't think so. So while clubs around the country were just kind of starting to showcase African American talent,
Yeah.
Florida had kind of jumped on the jazz bandwagon years prior. There were stories after stories of late night jazz parties kind of in the woods outside of every major Floridian city. Okay, so and the reason why people believe this is because, like, at the time when slaves were escaping,
Yeah.
a lot of times they ended up in Florida.
Yeah.
And so they kind of settled and lived here. So that culture of jazz had been kind of like brewing in our state
Okay.
for decades before the rest of the country even caught on to it. They found safety and kind of comfort here.
Okay.
And so you had all these kind of backwoods jazz concerts. People would come from all over the nation to come get free booze and hear jazz concerts from legends out in the woods.
I don't think anything could keep me.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Or free booze and jazz concerts.
It'd be a lot of fun. In fact, Alfred Pee Wee Ellis, Doug Carn, and the great Nat Adderley are all jazz legends, and every single one of them are from Florida.
You didn't have to tell me.
No, we knew.
I could repeat those names right now if I wanted
Go
to.
for it.
Nate, Jazz Man,
Jazz, man.
Cab Calloway,
Yeah.
and Dusty Jenkins.
Dusty Jenkins. So a lot of times we joke around on this show about Florida being lawless and kind of being
Yeah.
the place where people like kind of escape to, but those same conditions literally created such a vibrant and healthy culture that we still reap the benefits from today.
Unreal.
Yeah, a
Would
lot
never
of people
guessed.
have been bringing up the Roaring 20s simply because we find ourselves in a similar situation currently.
So you think there's going to be a roaring after a post?
It could be. Right now, we're kind of coming out of a pandemic. It
Yeah.
is the 20s again. It's 100 years
Oh my
later.
gosh, Cam, do you realize
I
that?
didn't. No.
It'd be interesting to see like what kind of talent and culture comes out these next
The
10
roaring
years.
TikTok 20s.
Let's
Josh got
go.
booze in his bathtub.
I got Midori Sour in my bathtub.
I tell you what, that leads to a great week.
Man, it's
It
super
really
weak.
does. And it's been a great week.
Well, this has been overly educational.
I feel like it.
Yeah.
I do like it. It's
I
just
feel
overly
like it.
educational.
FMOFM.com is where you can find some even more education.
Hmm.
If you're looking for some good stuff, that's where we hang out.
That's where I hang out. I'm on LinkedIn. Catch me on
Check
LinkedIn.
them out.
But if you want to hear some behind the scenes stuff, if you want bonus episodes, if you want to watch us live like our
Artwork.
live streamers,
Yeah.
what's going
What's
on?
up?
Basically, you get your episodes a week early, give or take. You get to watch it happen.
You get
Hey-
to see Cam's Roaring 20s dance that
Oh,
he's going
yeah.
to do once we hit the pause.
Definitely will.
You get to see my Jacqueline and Jack knife impersonations.
That's it.
Impersonations.
Yes. So FMOFM podcast
Yes.
at patreon.com. So patreon.com/FMOFM podcast
Man,
is
it's
where
a
you can
good
find
time,
all that
really.
stuff. We love you guys. It's been a great week.
Awesome week.
Come hang out with us.
Please.
See ya.